Well, well. Welcome to Dad Crossing, a podcast about animals and parenting. Today, we're going to be chatting about screen time and violence, but not the two of them, not the same time, not the same, well, sort of. Anyway, Dad Crossing is probably part of the Nintendo Dads Family Podcast. Today, we have Nick Dendrites Metzger.
Is that a skin disease? Do I have a skin disease? Is that what I have? Is that what
We've also got with us today Sean Axon Abbott.
That sounds delightful.
Dendritis sounds like a skin disease.
And of
Yeah,
course,
yes,
and of course, I'm here, Dan Cellbody Caparello. And those, my friends, are the three parts of nerve cells. The dendrites, the axon, and the cell body. And just like a nerve cell, the three of us are inseparable. So
That's right.
that's yeah.
I'm
I'm glad that,
I don't have a
I'm
rash.
really glad that joke landed and y'all understood what I was doing there, because
Well, not only are we entertaining, but we're also educational. Tell your kids.
That's right.
yeah, exactly. See, they could listen to this podcast. We're kid friendly. We're on the Nintendo Dads feed. We've earned that place, unlike another podcast that we may or may not mention. How are you guys doing? What's going on? It's Monday for some of us. Still.
Yes.
It's only Monday
wait.
for you, Dan.
It's only Monday for me. How typical is that?
Listen, Dan's
Monday
like,
just keeps on going.
that's right.
This Monday just won't end for me. We're just gonna.
Welcome to the future.
Yeah, Dan's like, it's Monday for some of us.
Let me ask you
Us
guys
is
a
me.
question. Let me ask you a question. Yeah, does tomorrow get any better?
Always.
Okay.
Not
Tomorrow's
for
always
you,
better.
because you procrastinated all your crap to tomorrow. So let's be honest, it doesn't get any better for you.
Yes. The story here, folks, is that my computer decided to not work. And so I decided to not work either. I just said, oh, you're not going to work. I'm not going to work either, which I can do because I'm a full-time freelancer. Unfortunately, what that means is that I had a great break today, and tomorrow is just full of extra work I have to do. So, or the next day, maybe I'll double procrastinate and just put it off until I go on vacation.
That'll be a great
Maybe.
night. So
Yeah.
you have 58-ish minutes left of your time off.
Yeah.
Thanks for spending it with us.
I'm not even going to sleep. I'm just going to keep working. That's just, yeah.
Is that something you
Why?
can do? Can you just stay up like that and just power through?
I think I would probably die if I did that. I need to sleep.
Okay.
Yeah, it'd be fun. I
Solid
should
mix.
try it.
I did it yesterday. I think I had like an hour and a half.
Listen,
sleep
Sean,
yesterday.
I know, but that's your job. You know, it's
You're-
different.
He gets paid not to sleep.
Well, how do you
No,
supplement that? Hold on. How do you supplement that though? Because that seems very bad for your health.
I don't know. I came home yesterday from work about 8 o'clock in the morning, went straight out and ran, did 3 kilometers. And then I came home and the kids were getting up. So I left Mrs. Abbott in bed to sleep for a little bit. And then I think I went to bed at about 11:30 and woke up at 1:15, if that at the latest.
1:15 what?
1:15 in the afternoon. So not
So
much.
you got
an hour.
2 hours of sleep.
Yeah, and then went to bed last night at about 10 o'clock. So that's how I supplement it, is that because after my last
Oh, okay.
shift, I tend to be all right. It's the best way to switch back around to normality. So
I
All
love
right.
Sean.
when we do podcasts after nights like this, I'm like, by this point, I'm awake. I've had a coffee. I just get ready to go. And
Yeah.
See, why you can
Cool.
send these pictures of how amazing you are is because when you do a really long day and you have to stay up, you run. What I do is just drink copious amounts of caffeine. So, I mean, you are so much more healthy than me. You're like, yeah, to stay awake, I just ran 3 miles. And I'm like, yeah, I just chugged 2 liters of Coke. And so now I'll be good.
I take a nap. Naps are so we're all we just have our strategies here for doing dad stuff.
Dad strats.
So has anybody been playing anything different this week? I don't think so. I think we're all pretty much just stuck in our well, Nintendo hasn't dropped or released anything. There were a few indie games, but I don't think any of us are playing any of them.
Yo, I am. I played a short hike.
Oh, how was that?
I beat it. If you can beat that game, it's aptly named as it is a short hike. But it's you're this little bird. You're flying around. You have to make it to this one spot. It is a touch difficult. It's really all about exploration, and it's one of those fun games. I mean, I'm gonna liken just this part to Breath of the Wild. Okay, the game is not at all like Breath of the Wild, but in the sense where like if you take the time to go out of your way to get to a nook or cranny, it rewards you with something. Like you'll always find something there. And that was kind of the
cool.
fun part about it. Yeah, I love games like that where it's like, I hate it when you get to a really tough spot and it's like, there's just like, well, there's nothing here. I did this for nothing. But there's always coins or a treasure chest or there's always something everywhere. And even after you beat it, there's a fun little vehicle you get at the end. I won't spoil it if people want to play it still. That's really cool. And there's a ton of more stuff that I could do. Like my only complaint is at some point I wish I would have gotten a map to that game. So, and there is a story to the game, which is pretty good. So yeah, I enjoyed it. That was the only indie. I got Spiritfarer, but I've yet to boot it up. So I haven't played that yet.
So difficult how?
What do you mean?
You said it's a touch difficult. It seems like a game that you literally walk around in.
No, I mean getting to the very top is a touch difficult. I wouldn't say that's like it's not like Celeste difficult, but there's like a strategy. You have to figure out how to get to the top, and you get these little golden feathers which help you fly farther and faster and higher. And so yeah, I don't want to make it seem like it's a really difficult game. It is not, but
cool.
People are saying it's super easy. There is a little bit of difficulty at the very end to summit, I guess is my point.
You know what? I might be in the mood for a short hike. So anyway, I think that's the only new thing we've been playing because it's all Borderlands all the time for me, mostly. Yeah. I might end up picking up Paper Mario to play when I go on vacation.
You should do that.
Yeah, definitely. It'd make your vacation go very quickly because you'll spend a lot of time of it staring at a small screen. But
that's what I do on vacation anyway, so might as well do something productive. No, whatever. Good. Awesome.
I played it. I've been playing Paper Mario with Noah, and he absolutely, like, that's why I haven't beat it yet. I'm on the doorstep of the final battle, I'm fairly certain. But, like, I cannot play that game without him. I feel bad because he just absolutely loves it. It is a touch annoying because I have to read everything to him. So that gets it's not annoying. It's just kind of exhausting. It makes you play not as long because it's like, I just need a break from reading because there is a lot of reading in that game.
Yeah.
And so... But it has been a great experience just playing through that entire thing with him and having him be like, I bet I know what's going to happen next. And he gets super excited when he thinks he's figured out the story. So that's been fun.
Cool. Well, Sean, you've got something coming up that's pretty interesting. You've got a Mario tournament. What's the deal with that?
Yeah, I've got a week off work now. And it's the last week of the school holidays. So we kind of wanted to finish it off doing a bit of a family type thing. So we've decided that we're going to play Mario Pie, Mario Kart, and Smash Bros. And we're going to do a tournament across them all. And
awesome.
The one who wins the most, which will probably be me. Cause, actually, I don't know. My eldest daughter is a poker shark of Mario Pie. She's unreal.
You're the one to beat, though.
She's once... Yeah, well, we once... played a round of it and she got 13 stars in one game.
Now, how long do you play, Sean? Like what's your normal?
A 2 hour for Mario Party.
Yeah. Okay.
So, but yeah, we've got that coming up. We've also decided that we're going to do a quiz for each of us. So my wife's doing a quiz, 5 questions, 5 categories. So we're doing that. It's kind of like a way of spending the last week together because after this week off, I'm working solidly for 2 weeks. The wife goes back to work and the eldest goes back to school. So,
wow.
Yep. And the other thing that I've got,
you guys.
yeah, I can't. we should start it. We should have started it last night, but my oldest daughter had a sleepover at one of her friends. So, because now we're at a point where we can start doing that within like friendship bubbles of hers and stuff like that. So she had a sleepover at one of her friends. So she kind of like by 9 o'clock last night, she was crashed out. So
It's cool that you've progressed to that level to where there's like you can start reaching out to other friends and doing all that kind of stuff. So that's great.
It's because we know they're going to be in her class at school, so they're going to be spending a lot of time together in a room. So why not?
Yeah, sure, makes sense.
And the other thing I've got planned is possibly looking at wiping my island on Animal Crossing.
Yeah, but you've got a bit of a cheat. You got a bit of a cheat for this, don't you?
Yeah, I'm going to use Lindsay's save on her Switch. I'm going to dump all my cash there and any items that like tools that I've struggled to get, and then I can quickly get through to the point where I've got terraforming, and then because I can't look at my island as it is now and say, right, this is how I want it to be. I keep looking at it and I'm like, I can't do it. Can't see to move everything. I don't want to time travel because it's going to take the days to move everything and then move everything back. So I just thought if I start again,
I'm taking the other approach to wiping your island because I've been going square by square and erasing everything, and it's not taking as long as I thought it would because, and I don't really know why. I mean, I'm sure once I actually get down to terraforming, it's going to take a little while, but clearing out items and trees has been pretty quick. Like most of the trees and items are now off my island, and I just have to go through and do terraforming, which is all paths and water and stuff like that. So once it's all flattened out, I'm going to actually start building the actual like places to go and plot out moving all of the buildings, which is going to take literal days. So that's kind of annoying, but I mean, it's a slow process, but I'm not in any rush. I'm just kind of making it work as I go. And I can't wait to show it off when it's done. But yeah, I don't want to lose my islanders and all that, and be very sad if I totally threw everything out the window.
Yeah, I don't think I could do it.
Yeah.
All those items that I've worked so hard to get, and I don't know. I just don't think I could just wipe my island. Kudos to you. Like seriously, like that's
it's the bugs and the fish.
Yeah.
And the fossils are the only one thing that has so far has made me stop and go, they were hard to get. Nick's still struggling to get one fossil. He plays it more than anybody I know in the world, and he's still struggling to get that last fossil. So I'm like, that's the only thing that's stopping me.
Ridiculous.
Otherwise, yeah. The plan is to completely flatten. The plan is to completely flatten. I'm not going to have any high rises. I'm going to get rid of all the water. I'm basically going to replan the entire island. So
that's cool.
So are you caught up on the bugs currently? Like, have you caught all the stags and all the beetles and all the blah, blah, blah?
No, the beetles are the ones that I'm struggling with. It's the ones that live on the trees are currently the ones. But other than that, yeah, I've got everything. I've got all the deep sea stuff.
The beetles are tough, though.
That'd be tough because I actually literally just went through it. If you've caught everything from the beginning, you can wipe out the Critterpedia in December when the dung beetle comes out that rolls snowballs for whatever reason. That's weird, but whatever it is, that's how it works. So I'm like, I'm just super excited because I'm like, I'm going to have the Critterpedia finished in like December.
Nice.
So
Merry Christmas.
Yeah. 3 months. That's all I got to wait. That's welcome to Animal Crossing when you're like, I'll be done with that in 3 months.
Yeah. How many hours again? No, we're not going to talk about that.
I crested 700. I finally got to 700.
You're going to get to 1,000 hours, dude.
I am. Yeah, it's going to happen.
That's going to be really happy and sad day at the same time.
It's cool. I love Animal Crossing. We all knew that before I started this. So yeah.
Good job.
1,000 hours. That is a long time.
Yeah, it's fine if I talk about it here. My wife doesn't listen to this podcast at all, so that's great. So we're fine. She doesn't.
Okay.
She doesn't get my emails about how many hours. She doesn't see my switch time. We're all good.
Oh, brother. Anyway, let's move into the dad corner. We'll chat a little bit about the topic of the day there for all the dads listening, or the kids, or whoever you are, whatever. So today,
there's mums that listen.
yes, mums, all the mums. So prepping kids for school, and on top of that, we're juggling screen time across multiple devices, since some of us are going back to school digitally. That can be an interesting dynamic that we are currently experiencing, especially when their hobbies all revolve around screens and their school revolves around screens. So Nick, let's start with you. So what are your kids doing right now for school? Are they online or are they in person? And what have you been doing to help mitigate the screen time?
Yeah, so our kiddos go back in on after Labor Day, and they will be in person as of right now, as long as everything goes well. That's the plan. And so currently, I've been doing a dad, like I'm the stay-at-home dad that works kind of thing. My wife works at a school district that actually went back in the beginning of August. Her first day back was, I think, August 9th or something like that, for teachers at least. And so I have been hanging out with the kiddos since then through this month. And so one of the things we did, because me and my wife talked and we were like, listen, it's been like 6 months since these kids have had any. Sorry, Dan's having a fourth meal. Is that what Taco Bell calls it? So it's totally distracting for her. Anyways, let me get back on track.
Listen, it's Dunkin' Donuts cereal, okay?
Oh, are we back to the Dunkin' Donut? You were talking about this on Discord.
It's delicious.
And it's Dunkin'. Wait, wasn't there something that happened when you had Dunkin' Donuts cereal the next day? And you were like, your wife was like, well, that's what happens when you have Dunkin' Donuts cereal. And you're like, well, I can't.
I just couldn't sleep.
Oh, okay. Well, you don't need to do that anyways.
Well, I'm
anyway,
on the podcast right now. Anyway, carry on. I'm going to remute myself so I can.
Yeah, that's fine. You go back to your meal. So what my wife and I decided to do was kind of do a light school, I guess is what you call it. Like, we had these packets of stuff that Noah and Ariel had to do, my son and daughter, through June. And so we pulled out some more of those and kind of, instead of having them do all that they would normally do, we just have them do like one or two to kind of get them reacclimated with what they were learning at the end of the year, to get them away from screen time for a little bit. We kind of dialed back their bedtime a little bit too, because man, we were really like Noah would go to bed at like 10 or 11, which is not the time that a 6-year-old should go to bed. But he didn't have anything else to do, so he'd hang out with me. And so we dialed him back to like 9, and then next week we're going to take him back to 8. And we're just kind of preparing him to get back to a schedule. So that's, I cannot even imagine what it would be like for my 5-year-old to go to bed at 11. That would just blows my mind. Why do you say that? Like you?
I don't know. Like we have just always like 7 o'clock, you're in bed. Like, done deal. If you get out of bed, there's going to be consequences. Like, done. Like, we're not going to hang out with you. We raised you all day. We're done seeing you. Go to bed. Like, I can't, and I'm not judging anyone.
No, I know you're not.
Kids.
No, you're cool.
This is just how we've been running my household, right or wrong. I'm just like, put your kid to bed. What are you doing?
My question is, what time does Noah get up? If he's going to bed at like 10, 11 o'clock, is he sleeping in a little bit longer?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, so he's sleeping until 8:39.
Okay, well, there's the trade-off. I mean, our kids are up at 6 a.m. easy. So,
and to be fair, my wife likes it. So during the summer, obviously, I'm at work and my wife is at home. And so she likes it that way because she likes to sleep in. So she would rather him be up a little bit later, or quite a bit later, so that she can not have to worry about the kiddos getting up as early. So yeah, that's why. That's I guess one of the reasons we do that. It is a pro and con thing, though. I totally agree with that in the sense of it's like, well, we don't really get to spend as much time together, like me and Becca, my wife, because it's like the kids are all here too now and much later than normal. Although, let's be honest, during COVID, we stayed up till like 2 a.m. Like, it's ridiculous. We watch way too much Netflix. So that's what I'm doing. What are you guys doing? Sean, you're about to go back, right?
Yeah, we're getting ready. We're literally just starting to do what you've been doing with the scaling things back. So mainly the eldest, because Logan doesn't go to school as per se. He goes to nursery like a total of 1 day all week. So, and his bedtime's never followed. He's been like you done 7 o'clock. You are in bed, because if he's not in bed by then, it turns into some kind of tiny little evil monster that just wants to fight you with every chance. And so like, and because he shares a room with my youngest daughter, who's 8. She's been going to bed at 7 o'clock. And what we tend to do is we sneakily give her the switch and say, here you go, you've got like an hour of screen time, but then we're going to come up like 8 o'clock and we'll take that off you, and then you've got to go to sleep. So we've started to not let her have the screen time sat in bed. So it's like, right, here you go, we've got your little light, do a little bit of reading, and we'll come up and tell you to turn the light off. It's the eldest that we're going to struggle with, because even still, like me and the wife will go to bed at like 10, half 10, because obviously the smallest of the small, the evil one, still likes to get up at 7 a.m. regardless of when he's gone to bed.
That's how my kids are, because it was like, if they could go to bed at 10 p.m. and they do sometimes, they stay up in their rooms, and we have to put them back in bed. They still up at 6 a.m. I'm like, this is why you go to bed at 7. This is why.
So we're going up to bed, and like, because I drink a lot of water and other stuff. Like 1 o'clock, I'll go down to the toilet, and I can guarantee at 1 o'clock in the morning, my eldest daughter is probably still up watching TikTok on a phone like this constantly, which should bring me on to the balancing screen time. So this week we're starting to be like, right, look, it's 10 o'clock. Let's wind down, put your phone away, turn the TV off, do some reading for an hour. And then like next week, it'll be right. Okay. 9 o'clock, screens off, do some reading, wind down. Because otherwise she's just getting her, because what her school's done is they've staggered the start times. So not everybody starts at the same time. So then not everybody finishes at the same time. So I think she's in the earlier category. So she's like got to be up, gone, walked to school, and be at school for like 8:45 in the morning. So like at this moment in time, there's only 9 o'clock in the day for Jaya. So so she's going to struggle, I think, to get back to normality.
Sure.
Yeah, that can be tough, shifting around your schedule that quickly.
Yeah.
Which is good. You guys are doing a week of 10 o'clock, a week of 9 o'clock.
It's if we didn't, she'd struggle really bad for the first week.
Well, and probably rebel some more too.
Not so much rebel, but
really?
she's not really a rebellious type, is Jaya. She's pretty calm and goes very well with the flow. She just struggles. So she'd get up the next morning and she'd be really tired, and she'd be like, I really struggled to get back to sleep, or I really struggled to force myself to go to sleep. So breaking it in easy is the kind of thing to do.
Good deal.
Yeah, I think that's why it works with Noah to stay up later too, because he, like, if Noah's up past the time that he feels he should be, like, Noah will just be like, I'm going to bed. I'm just like, okay, sorry, I should have put you in bed by now, I guess. Or if he doesn't do that, he'll just like, he's gonna fall asleep because he just like grabs a pillow and curls up on the couch, and like I look over and he's just gone. And so it's like, all right, well, I'll just carry you to bed.
Oh man, my 3-year-old will do that. If she's tired, she'll go lay in her bed and fall asleep.
Yeah,
she's just like, no, I'm done, I'm good. None of my other kids do that, but my 3-year-old will. Okay.
Oh no, Logan literally, like, if he starts to get that tired, it just seems really impossible. Like,
Yeah.
you can't get him to do anything. It's like, right, okay, why don't we go get you a snack before bed? I want a snack. Well, okay. Well, let's just go to bed. No, I want a snack. But
Yeah.
you just tell, right, okay, what do you want as a snack? I don't want a snack. Oh, man. Okay. You're that tired. Let's play this game.
Oh, that age is magical. It's pure magic. So all my kids are very young. My oldest is 5. So the other 2, I don't have to worry about school or screen time because I control all of that. So whatever. We have daycare for them both when we need it. Olivia goes every day. She's 3. And Miles goes for half the day. He's our 6-month-old. So Nathan, the 5-year-old, is kind of the wild card. And we went back and forth about what we were going to do with him. We were going to homeschool him. We were going to send him to school. We're doing all virtual learning right now for the first few weeks here in Texas.
Oh,
so everybody's doing virtual learning right now. And we landed on just like, what does he even learn in kindergarten? What are you learning? You're learning like arithmetic, and you're learning what sounds letters make. Okay. I think we can handle that. I think like he doesn't need to be on a laptop all day. He doesn't, he's going to go to 1st grade next year, and he can learn everything he needs to learn to get to 1st grade almost on his own. I mean, he's very smart, picks stuff up very fast. And so we just kind of decided like, we're going to do like very light homeschooling. But really, he's just going to hang out with me all day. So I'm in your shoes, Nick, where
Those
I'm
are tough shoes, man.
stay-at-home working dad.
Yeah.
And it is tough, but he's pretty good with the flow for the most part. And it is, and I'm just going to have to be very structured with him because that's how his daycare was, very structured. So, which maybe will help me be structured. So imagine that. So as far as screen time goes, that's not really a struggle for us. We're not really there. The only time it becomes a thing is when he does have to go into daycare, because we'll do drop-in at the same daycare. And he's basically on his tablet for most of the time he's there, because it's not like a teacher's there. It's like, do your thing, and there's an adult here to make sure you don't die. That's it. So when I have gigs that I can't take him to, that's where he goes, and that's kind of annoying because I just wish they had more stuff for him to do, but there's not much of a choice. So we're not there yet. Is really the short answer.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Man, this is actually so. COVID was the first time we were there. And to be fair, a little bit was on me, right? So Dad's playing copious amounts of Animal Crossing. And so like we had to set a thing for Noah that was like, listen, you can only play, I think we set like an hour and a half on his Switch. But then like I'm sitting there, Switch goes off, and I'm like, no, you need to stop playing. So I'm still playing. And so next thing I look over, and there he's got like Mom's iPad. And I'm like, what? That's not like that's just another screen, buddy. You gotta, And so then like the iPad's gone, and Dad's back to playing Animal Crossing, and I look over, and here he is with the remote control in his hand and watching Netflix. I'm like, son of, that's just another screen. It's like, why that? There's too many screens in this house. I was like, go do something that doesn't involve a screen. So actually, that's become like the battle cry. So like when the Switch goes off, it's not like you need to get off the Switch. It's like you need to go find something that doesn't involve a screen. As long as you know what you can do. I don't care if you play with your Mario guys, you color Play-Doh, you do your like match puzzles.
How old is he?
He's 6. So it's like you go do something that doesn't involve a screen. And so that, like, I don't know, and after a couple months of quarantine, that became like what we said to him, and he got it, and he really was okay with it once, like, he understood it. He was just, at first he was just like, well, I can't play on Switch, so I'll just play on the iPad. I can't do the iPad, I'll just go to the TV. But once we figured out how to like convey to him what he needed to go do, and now he really gets it. Like we don't have to say very much to him, you know, go. Every once in a while I'll be like, no, you need something that doesn't involve a screen. And but most of the time, like when the Switch dings, he's like, all right. And so he'll go pick out one of his other avenues of things to entertain him.
Cool.
Yeah, we with Emily, my 8-year-old, her mum's. It's not bad that we've got different parenting skills. Not skills, but
Styles.
abilities. Not even, styles. That's the word. There we go.
My wife and I have different parenting styles.
Yeah, because at her mum, she's an only child. She kind of gets to do what she wants to do, not like she doesn't have to try and incorporate the other two. So, like, she will literally go between playing the Switch, watching TV, or going out on a bike with her friends. So when she comes here, it kind of, for the first couple of hours, it's like she goes, "Oh, can I go on the Switch?" It's like, no, you're here. You've not been here for a couple of days. Your brother's really excited to see you. Spend some time playing with your brother, and I'll put a film on for you guys in a bit so you can chill and watch a film together. But right now, he's literally wants you to play with all his cats. So go do that. She always tries to gravitate back to, can I go on the Switch now? Or if the telly's not on while they're playing, she's like, oh, can we put the telly on? It's like, well, but you're playing. Oh, yeah, but I just want the telly on. So, well, you don't need the telly on. I'll put some music on, but you don't need the telly on. So, yeah, with the eldest, managing screen time, we've all got Apple devices. So, I think it was, who was it in the Discord? Very quickly, just check it.
You're talking about John?
Yeah, he asked that question, and somebody posted about like the stuff that Apple has. We use that quite heavily. So the screen time or downtime aspect of what Apple can do is fantastic. You can, because Jay's device is assigned to her, she's got an iPad and a phone. Basically, we just go into the downtime and we say, right, at 10 o'clock at night, her phone basically becomes a brick and it blocks all these apps apart from what we've said that she's allowed to use. So and she can make phone calls, she can send text messages, and she can listen to Spotify, because that's all we need her to do, really. After 10 o'clock, she doesn't need to be on Instagram messaging people or watching videos on TikTok or scrolling through Twitter until silly o'clock. She just literally, it's like, you've got the ability to ring us and text us if you're at your dad's and you need something, or if, like, for whatever reason you need to make a phone call, or something happens in the night where, like, we have to take the kids somewhere else. So say, like, I've hurt myself at work, or if one of the other kids is poorly and we need to, like, drop her off some at my mum and dad's and stuff, and say, so she can ask how we are. And that's how we limit the screen time. It basically, at 10 o'clock, she knows that that's it. There's no more for the day. You've hit your limit. How we manage it through the day is where it gets difficult. She's a teenage girl. She lives in a bedroom. So, yeah, like, I stick my head in like every hour. I'm like, what are you doing? You all right? Do you think you should maybe put your glasses on for a start? Do something else, do some drawing, listen to your music, but do some drawing rather than just be. So that's how that's how we're managing it. And
and let's read John's question, since we are basically there. He goes, John Blanco in our Discord goes, my son has a 2-hour limit on his Switch, but all through the summer he spends a ton of time in his room, probably using his iPad a lot, which has no limit. I know I should probably restrict charging cables to get around this, but in lockdown, what do I tell my son to do otherwise? Watch paint dry? Now, with school starting, do you have any strategies for weaning them off game devices without going
cold turkey. And I think we've hit on a little bit of that. Kind of like every week, giving them less and less time so they get used to it, and giving them ideas of what to do other than screen time can help a lot. But I think, Sean, you have the closest age to John's kids, and like kind of that preteen to teenage years that can be a little difficult to kind of control those things. So do you have any other thoughts on that for John?
I'd definitely say if it's an Apple device and you can digitally control the limit, I'd definitely look into that. The restriction charging cables isn't going to work. They're always going to pull a cable from somewhere. Kids can hide cables in the best of places. So you have got to go to some kind of like prison warden to try and get rid of that. There's little shivs and everything everywhere. The monkeys. Oh, trust me, I could say a lot different. But no, it's difficult. We've had issues where like Jaya's she'll roll her eyes at us, or she'll give us a bit of attitude and sass, and it's kind of like, look, this is how it is. You kind of sometimes got to meet it with a bit of an iron fist and like, look, no, this is how it is. You can't go through your entire teenage life staring at a screen. You need some time to, I don't know, read. I mean, my youngest daughter, her readings come on fantastically in quarantine because with limited screen time. So it'd be like, look, pick a book, read a book. And she's read all the books that we've got that are like, she's reading, I don't know if you guys know David Walliams is, but he released a lot of Roald Dahl style books, but aimed for kids that are a bit older. And she's flattened the entire collection. So she's read them all. Like her understanding of words is brilliant, and it's really helped with her vocabulary and she seems to have enjoyed it. So that's one thing, is try and point them in the direction of reading a book, because it does fantastic things for kids learning different words and isn't like different and helps with their imagination. And that could pick up then. Now they've done a bit of reading, they might see something that's interesting in there that they want to try, or they might find another book that they then want to read. It's just, it kind of is a bit of a gateway to making them think for themselves rather than staring at a screen. Other than that, it's getting outside. If you've got the ability to be outside, we've got a tiny back garden, but it's full of kids stuff. So we've got a slide, bouncy castle, trampoline. We did have a bouncy castle for a little bit, but my mum and dad took that back. So it's even going out for walks. If you can like do a big thing as a family going for a walk, we try to do it. Well, it's been nice weather here. Go out once a day, every day.
We do a walk every day after dinner. We do a walk. It just passes the time, makes them tired. It's the best.
Yeah, and it gets them out, and it's always the physical stimulation's better than anything. I mean, I don't know. I couldn't now as an adult sit and do nothing for a long period of time. I'd love to. And it's like, oh my God, if somebody could take the kids for a week, the stuff that I wouldn't do would be fantastic. But,
all the things I wouldn't have to get done.
Yeah. But like now if I'm sat for like 2 hours and we're just sort of like, the kids are playing and I'm like, I sit there and I'm twiddling my thumbs and it's like, I need to do something. If I don't do something, I'm going to so.
Cool. Yeah, good deal. Thanks for your question, John. We are going to jump into community questions, villagers bulletin board. We only have one thing to do now because we just answered John's question. But on that note, we want to thank all of the Patreon members of the Nintendo Dads for hanging out with us on Discord. Y'all are the best community on the internet. And if you're listening to this and you want to chat with us three, plus a whole bunch of other Animal Crossing fans that are also dads, and there's a couple moms in there now too, you can join us. You can join in on all the action for as little as $1 a month over at patreon.com/Nintendo Dads. So last week we talked, or 2 weeks ago, because we do every other week,
whatever. You know what I meant. Last week we talked about balancing your dad life with your game life. And I asked you guys to send us some of your strategies or how you do it. And so we got a message back from Frosticles on our Discord. Frosticles says, great show, guys. To answer your question about how to find time to game with life getting in the way, I'm quite fortunate that my wife is a gamer and plays Warzones with the kids when the kids are in bed. So probably not with the kids. So from 7-ish when the younglings are in bed, that is our time to get in a few hours. Sadly for me, though, in the last month, I've begun to start work at 3 a.m., so my few hours have dwindled down, maybe an hour and a half at most, and I go to bed early. The night before the day off, though, I have a proper late night and get about a 5-hour playtime, and he and his wife chill together. Once the kids are old enough to get into gaming, I'm hoping this will change, and I'll get all of them involved to play games. But for now, they're too young and don't care. So it sounds like he's got the life.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
The wife that likes to play video games.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know what that's like.
We chatted a little bit after he'd written that, Frosticles, because I play a lot of Warzone solo, and I need a team. And apparently his wife is in a clan, and there's a few of them that all get together and stuff like that. And since that, his wife now follows me on Xbox Live. I don't think she's quite bridged to sending me a friend request yet. I'm not sure, but it's all changed since I started making friends on Xbox. So I'm hoping to possibly join in his wife's clan and play. So
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would definitely be playing more video games if my wife either played or cared about them at all. But I also don't blame her, so whatever. On that note, if you guys want to send us how you handle screen time in a quarantine world, we would love to hear your answers. We want to get strategies. What do you do? What do you not do? How much time do you give them? All the things. Send them along. You can do that on Discord or on our Twitter, which is at @NDadCrossing. And that is that.
Yes, it
and
is.
that is also the show, I think.
Are we going to talk about violence? Blood and gore?
Violence, yes. So
Death
that was the
and
other thing. We're going to
destruction.
jump into a quick discussion, hopefully, about our thoughts on video game violence. This was kind of a last-minute topic that I threw in because I think it's an important
I was going to say,
one.
didn't you throw it in?
We did, and then I forgot that I did that because it is bedtime for me.
Yeah, I've been dealing with video game violence since like 1989. I've been jumping on Goombas and Koopa Troopers since like I was 3 years old.
Yeah.
I don't need to worry about violence.
Well, so that's my first question to you guys: is did your parents? Did they care about video game violence? Did they know about it? Where were you as a kid in relation to video game violence?
I think the first true violence where, like, obviously Mario is not violence. Well, he is in a twisted sense. But
yeah, we'll talk about graphic
think
violence, though. Things that happen in real life.
I think Killer Instinct for the Super Nintendo was probably my first touch on real graphic style violence. That and Mortal Kombat trilogy was probably the first. And I think I must have been like 9-10 years old. So I kind of wasn't introduced that early in that sense. And even then, I think it was limited. I think like I wasn't allowed to play them much. I didn't really like to play them fighting games whenever my thing as a kid. So it wasn't until like Grand Theft Auto, the original top-down one, when the PlayStation came out, that I got onto video game violence where you could run people over and shoot them. And
that's kind of true, right? Like when we were kids, the most violent video game was like a Mortal Kombat, and you look at that now and you're like, it's like nothing. It doesn't even look that good. You can't even tell what's going on, you know? But so these days, it's a lot different as games get more and more realistic. But Nick, what was your exposure to video game violence like as a kid?
Yeah, my mom cared. I mean, she was, I never really thought of her as a gamer, but she really was. I mean, we played a lot of games together. And so, yeah, I brought home Mortal Kombat. I think for our generation, that's kind of the one for a lot, for a lot of people. So I brought home Mortal Kombat, and she saw it, and she was like, nope. And she took it out of the system and was like, you can take that back to your friend now because you're not playing that anytime soon. And I don't remember how old I was or even like which one it was or anything like that. I just remember that happening. And she was like, see you later. So yeah, she was, I actually, by the time I think I was able to play it, I wasn't really into Mortal Kombat anymore. So I just, I was like, that's okay. But yeah, so I did, that was my first foray into anything like that. And I'd say like Perfect Dark was probably like my first like shooter where you're killing people that I can think. No, 007. I don't know.
GoldenEye was first.
GoldenEye was first. Okay, yeah. GoldenEye. Yeah, it was GoldenEye then. Yeah. So that was probably my first foray into that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's pretty much me too. I didn't really. When I played Mortal Kombat at friends' houses, I was like, "This game sucks. Can we play something else?" Like, it's not even a good game. It's like, put Street Fighter back on.
First introduction to PvP, and it wasn't brilliant.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. But I don't think my parents. I don't remember them caring really. I mean, they didn't go out and buy me Mortal Kombat or games that looked like they were. I played Donkey Kong Country and Mario RPG and racing games and whatever. And then by the time things got I think it was probably like the GameCube, PS2 era where things started to be like more overtly violent. Like it was like, oh, things look kind of realistic now. So now we can make Grand Theft Auto 3 and we can make Manhunt, and we can make...
Yeah, I was going to say Manhunt, I think, was my first proper... Yeah, because that game was pretty... putting plastic bags over people's heads and beating them with it. It was a bit weird.
Yeah, it was very graphic and just over the top. So do you guys subscribe to the ESRB ratings? And you have PEGI in Europe, I think, right, Sean?
Yeah, we have the PEGI system.
So do you guys strictly subscribe to those for your kids, or do you let them go a little older?
The eldest, 14, we're quite relaxed with what she sees. So she's a bit of a horror film buff, which I was at that age. So, and I can remember like from 12 years old watching Freddy and Jason and the iconic horror figures of like the 80s and 90s. I used to watch those with my mum as a kid. So,
oh wow,
yeah, I was a bit twisted as a kid. No, it was just one of them things. My mum was a really big horror buff. She absolutely loved it, and it kind of like it rubbed off on me. These things probably didn't see them that scary as a kid. Maybe made me jump a little bit, but it was something that I shared with my mum. Now, my eldest is the same. She quite likes that, and she plays at 14. She's playing obviously Call of Duty, Grand Theft Auto. She plays the Friday the 13th game with her friends where you got to hide from somebody who's playing Jason. Not Friday the 13th. Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. So she plays all those, and we're okay with it. She doesn't use the bad language that's in those games. She doesn't go around thinking it's okay to hit people over the head with stuff. So it's kind of like, that's where for me as a parent, you've kind of got the grip of it is, does your child mimic a lot of stuff that's happening that they've seen? Or can they kind of like take it in, digest it, and know that it's not right to do that? So and a lot of that
comes down to their age too, and their maturity level is how much can they separate from reality and how much do they mimic? That's just the age that they are. And I also know that like my 5-year-old gets glued to screens if there's a screen on. My 3-year-old does not. She'll get up and do things. So you just kind of have to watch also temperament and how they handle stuff. So that's all good.
Say, I had a cousin cousins, there was like 3 boys, all the different ages, and the youngest one was really influenced by stuff. So like the eldest 2 would watch wrestling, and the eldest 2 were like older than me, and then the youngest one was younger than me. And he'd be really influenced. So like they'd watch wrestling and he'd think it's okay, and he was going around the playground at school like trying to suplex kids and stuff like that.
Oh my gosh.
Like, whoa. No, hang on. You can't do that. That's not right. And I think that's when they started to then look at things like he was playing Tekken and like it was like really limit the stuff he was like he could see. Because
you really got to know your kid.
Yeah.
Good deal. What about you, Nick?
Yeah, I think that's pretty much what so how I handle, because like I said, Noah really got to have use of the Switch Lite for the first time during quarantine. And so that was the first time that I had to really ever look at that, because before it was like if he had a Switch, I was right next to him. And so I kind of gave him more of a free rein and said, okay, if you want to grab the Switch. And so I was like, well, I got you something, because I have a lot of games on there that I don't want him to play. So what we do is we use the whitelist feature, and I just lock everything down, and then I whitelist what he can play. And then there's only like 7 or 8 games that I let him play. And, I think like the worst one is probably like Space Pioneer. But that's like super pixelated and there's really nothing there. So yeah. And for me, I always run stuff by my wife, because she is inherently kind of more conservative on the violence than I am. And so I respect that. And so like before, like even Boomerang Fu, I was going to download that and show it to him. And I was like, I let her see the thing. And, it's just like, really, it's just fruit that get cut with a boomerang. And there's not a whole lot there, but I was like, I don't know, maybe she'll have an issue with it. She didn't. Yeah. And so we downloaded it and that was good. But that's kind of how we run it. Like, it's just, I kind of just show her stuff. If I'm on the fence about it, or even if I think there's a possibility that she might have an issue with it, then I run it by her, and I'll always respect her opinion if she thinks that he shouldn't be watching it. She has more of the background for that. She's a school counselor and kind of went to school for all that kind of behavioral stuff. So yeah, I'm not gonna object to her opinion. I do want to say one thing. I saw you bring this up and I thought this was funny. On a quick tangent, we're doing the retro rewind is the Kirby's Dream Land 3, and I looked it up because I was utterly confused as I started to play it on Sunday. That game has no hand holding whatsoever. But have you ever got to the perfect ending in that game? No, you said you'd never played it, right? No. Well, FYI, listen to this. I looked it up on Wikipedia. So the true final boss is this guy named Zero. No idea what that is. But Zero is famous for being a rare example of Nintendo graphic violence in a first-party game. Zero fights Kirby by opening cuts on his body and shooting blood out of the cuts at him, as well as summoning small dark matter to use projectiles. When his health is drastically weakened, he rips his iris out of his body with blood flying everywhere as it happens. The ruined body, complete with a vicious gash to its front from where the eye burst out, trails away, and the final phase of the fight begins. I could not believe that. I was like, are you serious? Like, this is a Kirby game? What am I reading?
I thought Kirby was the small, pink, fluffy,
I know,
cute thing that swallowed everything that it saw. When did it become that? That sounds like something you'd see in Metroid.
If Wikipedia is wrong, then somebody please tell us. But that is Kirby's Dream Land 3. I looked it up just because I was like, I don't really understand what I'm doing. So I looked it up and it's the Super NES version. And yeah, it's not, I guess, the boss that you fight initially, but however you get, I didn't read how you got there, but the Zero is the game's secret and true final boss. And yeah, so there you go. If you find the secret boss and your kids are in the room, you might want to pause.
And on that bombshell,
I think I've broken Dan, by the way.
I'm just looking at images of this guy, and I'm like, wow.
I didn't look at him. Is he creepy?
I mean, okay, in the game, it's not that bad.
Pretty pixelated.
Yeah, well, like, you know, it's kind of it's a little weird, but it's not graphic necessarily.
Yeah, because you really can't see anything, right? I mean, it's just,
Yeah,
it's 16 bits.
He's just a big white circle. Let's see here. Oh, okay. Yeah, no, that's wow. Okay, his iris pops out and it's all bloody, and now you're fighting a big red circle that bleeds every time you hit it. So that's not the Kirby that I remember.
Yeah. So when I was reading, I was like, oh my goodness. Here I am like floating around in the beginning of this game. It's all cute and fluffy. And I'm like, man, if I happened upon this secret boss, which I have no idea, like I said, I have no idea how you get there. But anyways, I just thought that was funny. I read that last night and I was like, well, if I get to that one, I'll have to do that when Noah was in bed. Because pretty sure that's not going to fly on the wife radar.
If you don't want to sleep tonight, go look at some fan art of that. Boss. Yeesh. So I think on that note, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up because can't get much more violent than that. Don't let your kids play Kirby's Dream Land 3, I guess is the lesson we've learned tonight.
Well, don't get to the secret boss with your kiddos around.
Kids are
But however it goes, Dad Crossing is a part of Nintendo Dad's family of podcasts. You can find new Nintendo Dad content wherever podcasts are found. If you have questions or comments, you can reach out to us on Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram. Everything is at @NDadCrossing. We want to give a big thanks to Nintendo Dads for making this craziness happen. From Sean Abbott, Dan Caparello, and myself, Nick Metzger, we hope your village is sunny and your villagers, well, they're happy. Have a good one, folks.
Don't play Kirby's Dream Land.
Well, now that I just hit record,
You better work. Cover girl. Work it, girl.
yeah.
Give it a twirl. Do your
how
thing.
are you doing? Really, this is more entertaining than the podcast, probably. We could just do this.
That's why I do it for you guys, so we get jazzed
so
up.